what's up, the squad? Back with another video. I'm Reckless, you feel me? We got asked Donald Trump if he would campaign from jail, you feel me? This is a little bit, you feel me? This is a little bit of a video I wanted to see. I love seeing what's gonna happen with this whole situation and where it's gonna go. So make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe button. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video, y'all.
The by far front runner for the Republican nomination and the most persecuted man in, I believe, American history, the former president of the United States, President Donald Trump. Welcome to the program, sir. How are you?
Well, thank you, Glenn. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. You're probably right about that. Sadly, the most persecuted.
Yeah, you are.
I've never heard it put quite as succinctly, but it's probably true.
So let me ask you, you know, you've seen the deep state. We now all know what you saw was true and deeper than I think any of us knew. They've weaponized everything. They are serious about trying to put you in prison. Can I ask, will you and can you run a campaign from a jail cell?
Well, I don't think that's ever happening. We have a great case. Every case is a scam. This is just like
I feel like he's not gonna back down regardless. Like that's just something like that's the answer. Like he's not gonna back down.
Russia. Remember, I was going to be guilty with Russia. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with 18 radical Democrats and Bob Mueller, the Mueller report said there was no collusion. Everyone had a heart attack. And then they started Ukraine. Then they started lying on Pfizer reports. These are bad people. These are sick people. And now we have the biggest lead I've ever had. The debate, I actually went up after the debate, as you know. We did your friend Tucker's interview, and he had 261 million people, which is an all-time record.
Yeah.
So when you say, like, I didn't do a debate, I actually didn't do a debate, but I had 261 million people listening versus 11 million, which they had, which was one of the lowest-rated debates. So I went up fairly substantially after that, and I think the fake indictment that they did in Georgia was very helpful, and then they insisted on a mugshot, and somehow it turned out to be very iconic.
I have to tell you, I don't know how you do it every day. I really don't. I would have lost my mind a long time ago. You said in 2016, you know, lock her up, and then when you became president, you said, we don't do that in America. That's just not the right thing to do.
I'm not gonna be talking as much, you know. I'm gonna still get my insight, but I am sick. Been sick for a few days now. Went to a hotel. You know, hotels be real cold, and I think I caught a cold.
That's what they're doing. Do you regret not locking her up? And if you're president again, will you lock people up?
Well, I'll give you an example. The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us. I always had such great respect for the office of the president, the presidency. But the office of the president, and I never hit Biden as hard as I could have. And then I heard he was trying to indict me, and it was him that was doing it. You know, I don't think he's sharp enough to think about much, but he was there, and he was probably the one giving the order. But he was, you know, hard to believe that he even thinks about that because he's gone. But then I said, well, they're actually trying to indict me because every one of these indictments is him, including Bragg. You know, Bragg put his top people, I don't know if you know this, he put his top person into the office of the Manhattan District Attorney. They've been in total coordination with Fannie Willis. The woman that I never met that they accused me of rape, that's being run by a Democrat, a Democrat operative, and paid for by the Democrat Party.
I didn't know nothing about that. That's wild.
You know, so many of these things. I have a couple of other lawsuits, all funded against me by the Democrat. These are sick people. These are evil people. And it's an amazing thing. We talk about the public. The public is smarter than anyone can imagine because they understand what's happening. And it's really actually driven. I was doing very well before this stuff, but it's really driven my poll numbers up. And you look at these, you know, that basically they're saying I don't have a right to challenge an election. And I did something, and I have to get it to you like immediately yesterday.
I feel like they're doing this because they know that he can win. That's crazy.
That's actually crazy. All of the Democrats over the last 15, 20 years that have been challenging elections. And this tape, the problem is it would go on for 2 hours.
Yeah. You know, we have 25 minutes of it. I mean, it's crazy.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did you get that from me? Did my office send that in?
I don't know. I don't remember where we. Do you remember,
good.
Stu?
But
we have it, and we've played it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's
incredible. It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
No.
I mean, it doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going. And much nastier. I mean, I'm like a kind person by comparison. They're calling for death.
I know.
Maxine Waters is crazy. She's like a crazy lunatic. The way she talks about people, go into restaurants and beat them up and things. You know, her statements are just unbelievable. But a lot of them are unbelievable, and nobody talks about them. Hillary Clinton, who called up and conceded the night of the election, and a week later she started saying that she won the election. Not that she said, I didn't win. I didn't win. You know, it's all not. And then she made up the Russia hoax. And then after 2 years, I won that. And then they go into Ukraine. No, these are sick people.
I know.
But the public gets it. They get it almost as well as you do. I don't think anybody gets it.
So, Mr. President, we have so many problems. I got a call from a Democrat just last week, and she said, Glenn, I'm thinking about voting for a Republican, and I'm still a Democrat. She said, but I'm on a fixed income. I know for a fact what I used to have in my pocket at the end of every month is now not even there at the end of every week. They are hurting. People feel like the republic is over. A lot of people look at what's going on and say, this can't last. Can you give people hope that change can happen and you can bring things back, a republic? And
I mean, just being real, like the Democratic Party really don't have a lot of people. Like I said in the last video, like my dad, he said something about Joe Biden winning, because I told my dad, I'm like, man, look, Trump supporters are really strong. They're strong, they support hard, and they ready to go within whatever. And I was telling him this, and he like, I don't think so. He was like, Joe Biden's gonna win again. Me personally, Joe Biden is not gonna win again. I mean, that's just me, you know. And a lot of people know of my dad. He's been in a couple videos. With him, he's independent leaning Democrat. But I just don't see that happening. I definitely see. I like what Ramaswamy is doing. I like what Donald Trump got going on, and the reasons behind what they're running for. But as far as the Democratic Party, I don't see it.
An economy?
So, Glenn, I can look.
And a lot of Democrats are switching to either vote for Republicans or just switching to Republican as a whole, or just going independent, leaving the Democratic Party.
We had this running until COVID, 2.5 years. It was the greatest economy in the history of the world. Everybody was happy. African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, women, men, people with diplomas from MIT and people with no diplomas from high school. Everybody was happy. And frankly, I was getting calls from people.
Hold on, here's my mom, y'all. Hello. No, it's fine. Yeah, I got you. You're welcome. Tell my little brother to come here. My mom's actually picking up Rennie right now. She's taking a nap. Let's get back in this video.
From people on the left and even the radical left, get together. This country was coming together. Then we got...
Can you do me a big favor? Get Rennie back. Put about like 4 or 5 diapers in there. Put her on some shoes and run it downstairs to mom.
Hit with COVID. We did a great job with COVID. It has never been acknowledged, but it will be in history. We did a great job with the ventilators and all the things we did, because nobody knew what it was. Nobody had any clue as to what it was. And we did a great job. And when we handed it back over after a terrible, terrible election, I mean, they used COVID, they cheated. Even if you just go by what they did with legislators and legislatures, what they did with the consent decree in Georgia, the signing of that consent decree was by Raffensperger and the governor, the signing of that consent decree was the end of Georgia. That was the beginning of the end. And then when Doug Collins didn't get in, instead of picking, you would have had Purdue, you would have had Collins. It would have been like a routine thing.
But if you look at those things,
Georgia was so badly hurt. But the signing of that consent decree, and frankly, going around legislatures and not getting approvals and running these elections the way they ran them was a disgrace.
But
don't forget, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far, by millions.
I know.
And it's a very, very sad thing that happened to us.
So let me ask you, because you talk about what has happened in the past. I look at the GOP. You know, the head of the chair of the RNC tweeted on the day that you had the mug.
And honestly, like me even being real, like about everything. Like I feel like Joe Biden wouldn't even have been president if a lot of people seen how he was, seeing the R word. You know the R word. I gotta watch what I say because of YouTube. They've been messing with my videos, but being the R word, and a lot of people think, oh, that was Barack Obama's vice president, so we gonna vote for. If I feel like that wasn't the case and people actually would have did research and looked at the fact, they would have, it would have been somebody else. I'm not saying it would have been Trump. I'm just saying it would have been somebody else. You got to ask some we kids got it. You want to go with Gigi? Okay. Okay. Tell her to send money so she can get her something to eat.
Mugshot. Her excitement for the convention to come to Houston in 2028. They're not. I mean, the GOP is not at their post. And Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, the GOP has not been changing the things that happened last time in the election. They haven't shored those up. How do we ensure that we have a real election if the GOP won't do anything?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Look, I've been complaining they're not tough enough. The Democrats are dirty players. They lie. They cheat. What they did was unbelievable with ballots, with every conceivable form of cheating, and that includes, if you think, even the FBI. How about the FBI Twitter? Then you have the DOJ and Facebook, and you have all of these things that happen. And it was incredible what they did. And they used COVID to do it. But, I'll tell you, my two questions that I'm asked most often is, the first is, how do you take it? How do you live? How do you take it? And I get that asked from very successful people like you. Yeah. But I get that asked by the most successful people that have been tough and smart. They say, could I ask you something, President? How do you take it? And I take it because I take it. I sometimes say, do I have a choice? These people are crazy. But, I've been taking it from the day I came down the escalator. They made up that Russia hoax when I went up to number one in the polls. If I wasn't polling, if I were doing in fourth place like almost everybody, they're all gone. The Republicans are all gone. They're way down. DeSanctimony is a very disloyal guy. He's so far down. I think he's probably not even going to be in second place much longer. But I'm 40, 50 points ahead of all the Republicans. But they say, how do you take it? The fact that there's such love of what we stand for, and what we stand for is a great economy, strong borders, all of it's going to come back. The hardest thing to cure is going to be the millions and millions of people that they allowed into our country.
Yeah,
they allow millions of people.
And I feel like right there, what Chicago is going through right now. I watched a clip of something going on in Chicago. It's literally what they got going on right now. Is letting people come across the board, and they're complaining about it. They said they're complaining, there's robberies and it's fighting and it's this and it's that. And you having people come into your neighborhood doing this, and it's, this is somebody that, y'all voted for, and this is something that y'all wanted. This is why it's really important for a lot of people to do research, to actually look at things, to actually, it's real important.
From jails, these are people from mental institutions, and you can call them insane asylums, which is a step above. These are the people that they're allowing into our country, and they're a terrorist. They're a terrorist coming into our country, and they're just walking in, and they're totally, nobody knows who they are, what they are, where they are. It's what they're doing to our country is either a death wish. They're not stupid, because anybody that could cheat that way in elections is not stupid. But what they are is, I believe they might hate our country. They have to.
You think they might? They might hate our country.
No, but, and who can want open borders?
And I know it's all jokes aside, but I mean, him saying that is actually in a way speaking facts, because if you want a lot of this to change and a lot of this to stop, then you don't want a lot of it to change and a lot of it to stop. I mean, they're not stupid. I mean, they obviously see what's going on, and if we can't get the right person in office, then I mean, we all doomed.
I know.
Who can want no voter ID? You know, they have a thing for voter ID. They fight voter ID viciously. Why don't you want voter ID? Because you want to cheat. And if you think about it, they have to cheat, because who's going to vote for open borders, high taxes, high interest rates, bad economy, weak military, woke military, believe it or not. You know, I defeated ISIS.
What bothers me when my dad made that comment and said Joe Biden will win again. We're talking about the same person that's dealing with China. Son is dealing with China. Son is dealing with drugs. We're talking about a person that literally said something about, what did he say? Said that we're low on ammo. I mean, it's different stuff like that actually you want to research, you want to look at, you want to listen to for that next election. And that's another reason why I think that he won't win again, just based off of what he's doing. You know, he's falling on stage. It's a lot.
With our military, I did it in 4 weeks. I took out ISIS. I was told by certain generals that are television generals it would take years. And I flew to Iraq, and I came back with some incredible information, and I knocked out ISIS in 4 weeks. You know, our military is incredible. They don't get the credit. But then you see in Afghanistan, I was all for getting out. I'm the one that got the troops down.
I know.
But you have to keep Bagram, and you have to take our soldiers out last, not first. What they did is so horrible. And I believe it was the lowest point in the history of our country. What happened, that withdrawal, the way they withdrew from Afghanistan was the lowest in the history of our country. But we'll bring it back.
Okay,
we're going to bring back the economy. And we're going to bring back those strong borders.
Last
now.
question.
Let me speak.
You said that you weren't going, but you would be watching the debate for a vice president. Have you thought of Vice President Ramaswamy?
Well, I think he's great. Look, anybody that said I'm the best president in a generation, I don't know. You'll have to define generation, but it's a long time. And
there you go. There you have it. He didn't say he's going to make him. You know, if he becomes president, he didn't say he's going to make him vice president, but he said, I think he's great. I mean, he on his team.
He said it a couple of times, and he said it in 100 years. So I have to like a guy like that. You know, I can't get upset with him, but he's a smart guy. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of talent. He's a very, very intelligent person. He's got good energy, and he could be in some form of something. I tell you, I think he'd be very good. I think he's very good. I think he's really distinguished himself. He's starting to get out there a little bit. He's getting a little bit controversial. I got to tell him be a little bit careful, because some things you have to hold in just a little bit, right? But he's got a lot of good energy, I will tell you, and he's been very nice to me, and you know, most of them have, other than Christie. Don't forget, Christie left with an 8% approval rating.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
He was tied up in Bridgegate, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was a mess. He was a disaster.
It was amazing how there is the new generation and the old generation of Republicans that just seem to be completely out of touch with what time it is.
No.
So
they don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't. And Mitch McConnell, I mean, Mitch has to go. He's given them trillions of dollars that he could have stopped. You know, now they're campaigning on the fact that they have trillions of dollars. That was given by Mitch and 10 of his people that voted as he demanded that they vote. And, you know, it's not that he's a leader. He raises a lot of money and he gives it to senators.
Yeah, no.
And it's sort of like he buys his leadership. It's
exactly
terrible.
Right.
But he gave them all of this Green New Deal money, and it's probably $9 trillion if you add it up. And it's like throwing it out the window. It's a horrible thing. And it does cause inflation, but it's like throwing it out the window. It's a horrible thing.
President Donald Trump, thank you very much, sir. We pray for you. Millions of Americans stand behind you, and I hope more and more Americans wake up to the circus that we've turned our country into with this persecution of you. But thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I feel like that's definitely important. You know, that's why, you feel me? My boy right here. Sit on the desk, you feel me? Right there, you feel me? It's more so of, you know, it's important. It's real important to do your research, to know what's going on right now. Know what's going on right now. Know what's going on in the past as well. But know what's going on, you know, around you. How has Joe Biden helped you? You know, I'm not saying just go vote for Trump. I'm just, you know, mainly saying the Democratic Party to me isn't, you know, I feel like seeing a lot of stuff, doing my own research, not too happy with it, you know. But definitely appreciate y'all tuning in, watching this reaction. It's definitely important to get out as much as y'all can of what's going on, especially to the younger generation, because they are the future. That's why I try to get out these videos as much as I can. But definitely appreciate y'all tuning in, watching this reaction. Catch y'all next one.